Now, the Nigerian movie industry would not cease to give its teeming audiences pleasant surprises. Now, a new movie, Muri and Co., have hit the cinemas across the country. Now, produced by Inkblood Production in collaboration with Ace director Biodun Stevens, Muri and Co. tells the story of a street boy, petty thief, who pulled off his biggest robbery yet, a car. What he doesn't know is that the car contains 8-year-old Cole, the son of a popular actress. In his bid to sell the car or keep Cole safe, they get into hilarious and dangerous adventures, forging an unlikely friendship between the two. Kunle Remi, one of the top 10 highest grossing actors of 2023 and the main character in Muri and Co., joins me now to speak on his role in the new work and the challenges faced during production. I really want to say thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'll start it off. Before we get into the movie, let's talk about your evolution, and let's talk about your rise in the industry. You've been around for a while.
Yes,
But all of a sudden, you've risen to that leading man status within the industry. You might want to say otherwise, but that is what it is right now. And kudos for that.
Thank you.
Does it bring added pressure? Because right now you're one of those guys in front, the blokes that everyone looks forward to, the leading man, the alpha male in the industry. When it comes to major roles, I'm sure if they count 1, 2, 3, Kunle Remi will be one of those. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, regardless of the other.
I think I'll just like to stick to 1.
Okay.
But there is no pressure on my own part, because I think I started off with the dream of becoming, a leading man that is bankable.
Okay.
And on a journey to becoming a legend. So getting to this point has been absolutely great, and it's not anything to be fearful of. It's more of it's more challenging for me to, keep chunking out good work, and also finding the perfect time to cross and morph into something greater in the space of the industry.
Because the reason why I say that it's fearful for so many people, because think about it. There was a time that it was Jim Ike. There was a time it was Hank Sanoku. There was a time that Gentle Giant was the alpha male. But all these guys are the men.
Yeah. But the good thing is that we still have the likes of them. We still have the likes of Ramsey-Noah, the likes of Chidi Mokeme, still there and still,
but they are not in demand as they used to be.
You think so?
Yes, I know so.
I've been on the same set with Chidi Mokeme a couple of times, even with Ramsey-Noah. The point is I think it's how you, the grace of how you morph or remain consistent, and that's beyond our power. It's more of this grace.
Okay, I've got limited time, so let me just shoot another question before we talk about the movie. Quickly, they say, because of course in the script I just read, it's one of the most bankable stars, and I got thinking when I watched the Ebuka and his friends doing their thing on some streaming service, and the whole thing about Timini came up, and they talk about truly, because I've heard from the grapevine, especially those that made the crossover from comedy into movies, that they don't pay a lot in movies as much as they do earn in comedy. So when they say bankable, is it a myth or is it reality?
It's not a myth. It's a reality. There are gonna be times when you don't. Yes, we are not Hollywood, right? And we don't even have budgets of $100 million. I mean, if you have a budget of $100 million, it means that everybody is well paid.
Yes.
But if our budgets are still within the $1 billion,
is the pay decent?
It is so far so good. It depends on who you are. As an actor, as a lead actor, I am well paid.
For real?
I am well paid.
It's comforting to hear.
I am well paid.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay, I wouldn't want to get into the numbers, but
I know channels for. I mean, I know Arise TV for that. I know what you guys do, but I'm well paid, and I like. Yeah.
All right. Talk to us, Muri and Co. What separates this? Because usually you like to keep it pristine. You want to look good, but you decided to take it to the streets. Talk to us about that. That shift in role.
So I don't. As an actor, I'm very open to becoming anything or anyone. So I've never really. I really dreaded being, pristine, like you say, an opera. I like to adventure. Muri and Co is a great opportunity for me to showcase that part of me, the versatility that I have, and I'm taking it back to the streets. Biodo Stevens, the director, called me. She banked on me. She absolutely said, you know what, Kunle is going to do this. And I didn't have a choice than to pick up the challenge because then I've always wanted this. And so far, so good. I can't wait for the world to see it. It drops on the 12th of June in cinemas. I can't wait for the world to see Muri, as I call him.
All right. All right. So what was the most challenging thing about doing this movie?
Most challenging thing about doing this movie is reconnecting back to the street for me. So it's not, because you have to be very conversant with what's happening on the street, the language, the lingos, all of that. So, getting into that, having a coach on the side to also help me, brace up to this. It's Lagos, the sun is not friendly. So shooting under the sun, it's an outdoor shoot. It was crazy. It was crazy. A lot of running up and down and driving in Lagos. And the issues with driving in Lagos. It had its own hiccups that happened, but it's such a good challenge.
All right.
Yeah, it's such a, and I won't trade it for anything. I won't.
All right. So looking at it closely, because usually, I'm a movie buff, so. And I know that there cannot be anything new without inspiration from the old.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, Hollywood has been accused of doing this, overflogging the storyline over and over and over and over again. So you have one actor do one thing and he keeps on doing the same thing. Liam Neeson is one of them. He just keeps doing this. There's this hero complex that will always say to you, you want to do this. Now, bringing it down home. The whole Jennifer thing was a huge success, runaway success. No one ever saw that coming. Olasco didn't even think it would have been that successful.
Yes.
And it did. And almost everyone that has done something that has mirrored the streets, they've always tried to say, oh, it's a knockoff from Jennifer. Can that be accused of this, or did you guys carve a niche for yourself, trying to tell the story of the streets from a different perspective?
So the street is very broad.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
It's like the world in entirety. You can tell a military story in 500 ways, from 500 angles. Yes, Jennifer is one of those street stories. Alakada is one of those street stories. Queen Latifah is one of those street stories. Shaggy is a street character.
Yes.
Right? That's Brother Shaggy. All of these people are peculiar in what they play. Muri and Co is another angle of the street. So, for example, he is a petty thief. He would sit next to you right now. I've taken your phone, you just don't know. I mean, that's the kind of, I don't think, have you seen that kind of character that is just so swift? And that's from a thief's angle and how much they dream to want to become somebody. Yes, every street person dreams. Jennifer dreamt to be a queen, well-spoken and all of that, and she lives that kind of life. Muri, on the other hand, is dreaming to become a bigger, the big cash. I need to get the big box. It's the same thing with if you go to the street, if you go to Ojuelegba, if you go to Mushi, if you go to Agege, it's the same. They all have the same dream of hitting something big, and that's what it's about. So we can't say that it's a repeat of stories. It's just different angles of the street that we all see. Okay.
So speaking about different angles, just talking about the industry, where are you guys? Where do actors and those practitioners within the movie space now? Where do you think you are right now in the whole ascension to greatness? Because Nollywood caught fire and became more prominent before Nollywood started even doing anything major, thanks to the volume. But people have started scaling back and they are bringing in more value than just volume. Yeah. Where is Nollywood right now from an inside perspective?
From an inside perspective, Nollywood is in its growth stage. It's always been in its growth stage, but it's been, so if I'm going to use alphabets, Nollywood is in if we're starting from D to A,
Yeah.
Nollywood is in C. And that's a very good growth because we went from the locals, the DVDs, to now the streaming platforms. We went from smaller budgets to now bigger budgets. People are taking chances. Funke clocked $1 billion.
Yeah.
There's something about Nollywood that is growing, and I think overall it just needs to be more appreciated, not just by the people but by the government. Because again, we have all of that support, tax incentives, all of that. It also helps us, bank more, risk more, and the world loves us. We can't deny that. Africa loves us. Outside of Africa loves us. The continent, and on a larger scale, globally, Nollywood is loved, either we like it or not. Even if it's for the fun of it, or for the laughter, or for the appreciation of growth that it is, there's so much. So I would say Nollywood is in a growth stage.
All right, so now let's talk about, you mentioned money. Let's talk about money. There was a time that Nollywood seemed to be the laughingstock of the movie community globally, because they could say you could actually wax a movie from start to finish, color grading, editing, shooting, and everything post-production in 1 week.
Still happens.
It still happens.
Absolutely.
I doubt if it does.
It happens on YouTube. Yeah.
Because post-production takes a lot.
Depends on how much you want to
shooting
put into
maybe
it.
7 days, or post-production, I know, of course, it will set you back at least 3 or 4 days. So it doesn't happen anymore.
It still happens. I'm telling you, it still happens.
Okay.
But that's what differentiates you from
Okay.
going to the cinema, the big screen, and also doing something for a streaming platform like a YouTube. YouTube, you don't need to do, they don't think they need to do all of that long-term production because it's quick consumption.
Okay.
But for cinema, for film, for the big screen, it takes a while. Or it could take a year, 2 years.
So cost now, let's talk, that's where I was going to, cost now. Is it easier or is it harder to do movies these days? Because the standard is now high. And if you look at maybe Muri and Co, for example, how expensive are movies that we try out this time around as against probably 10 years ago?
It's pretty much expensive. As at 2020, 2019, you could make a movie with 50 million naira. A very good film.
50 million?
Yes, as of 2020. Now, as I speak to you, I'm drawing out a budget for a film, and I'm looking at 250 million, and that's for a smaller scale. So imagine the bigger you go, if you're doing an epic, for example, you're looking at $1 billion, you're looking at 800 million, you're looking at, it keeps going up and up like that.
Minus marketing.
Minus marketing. So it's bigger, it's more risk, it's more. Everything is now expensive, as you know. So even what you rented for, cameras and equipment you rented before, is double the price.
True.
Accommodation is double the price because everything, feeding is double the price. So at the end of the day, you can't say you want to make a film of 50 million. You can, but again, what standard are you going for? What production value are you looking at? So the more you think about these things, the more you want something solid for yourself, the better. I don't know if you saw the trailer of what's her name? Kemi Adetiba's husband. What's his name? The trailer for his film.
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar.
Yes.
You see that? You can think about it. Look at that, Nicola. There's Jago. There's so much that go into these productions, and that's a big budget. That's not my friend, my colleague Latif Adedimeji, who just made his own film. Lisa B. Bro, I know what goes into these things, and it's further away from what we've always, invested or imagined it could be. Now it's more. Now it's way more.
All right, so as we try to wrap up this conversation, why should people watch Muri? Why should people go to the theater to watch Muri and Co?
People should go to the theaters to watch Muri and Co, beginning from the 12th of June, because first, that's a public holiday.
Okay.
June 12th. Secondly, I'm in it. Visualizing it. Kiki's in it.
Okay.
So many characters. Puche Franklin's in it. Funke's not in Muri and Co.
Okay, I thought I saw her.
No, Bisola Yola, Kiki, Femi Jacobs, Move Forward. Amazing people directed by Biodun Stevens. And you will have a good laugh, you will have a good time, and it's worth your money.
All right.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen me as a street? Have you ever seen me as Muri Agba Pika? Body full of sticker.
All right, Kunle. I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors and for Muri and Co. Especially we'll be looking out for the numbers.
All right.
We'll be looking out for the numbers.
God is in charge. All right.